Welcome to Pennywise Books, where we turn timeless books into rich, engaging conversations that feed your mind. If you've ever wished for full book value with zero reading, you're exactly where you need to be. Settle in. Today's book might just unlock a new way of seeing money. And if you find this useful, insightful, or even just a little inspiring, go ahead and subscribe. It helps more curious minds find us too. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the insights. Today, we're plunging into an aspect of financial success that's, well, it's often talked about, but maybe not truly understood. You might think financial mastery is all about, complex stock market strategies or knowing obscure tax codes. But what if we told you that the secret to money success is actually like 80% behavior and just 20% knowledge? Today, we're going to unpack this fascinating idea and give you a roadmap.
That's absolutely right. And it's fascinating because your financial outcomes, whether you're doing great right now or just starting out, they're really a lagging measure of your financial habits.
A lagging measure. Explain that a bit more.
Well, think about it like an airplane's trajectory. Imagine a flight from LA to New York. If the plane shifts its heading just, say, 3.5 degrees south, a tiny change, almost imperceptible at takeoff.
Okay.
You don't end up in New York, you actually land in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
That small change, it's barely noticeable initially, but magnified over the whole journey. It means you're hundreds of miles off course. Your habits are doing the same thing. They're setting your financial destination, even if you can't quite see the shift day to day.
That airplane analogy really works. It drives home that idea of trajectory. But I wonder, for our listeners, maybe it feels overwhelming just to start making those small changes. What's the biggest hurdle you see? Just getting off the ground.
Yeah, it's often the lack of immediate visible progress, That small shift doesn't feel like much, so people tend to abandon it pretty quickly.
Right, because you don't see the DC versus New York difference right away.
Exactly. But that's precisely where this idea of the compound interest of habits comes in. Just like small gains in your investments multiply over decades, tiny improvements in your financial behaviors, they compound into really remarkable results over time.
Okay, so it's like investing, but for your actions.
Precisely. Think about the British cycling team back in 2003. They were, well, pretty average. Their new performance director, Dave Brailsford, brought in this strategy he called the aggregation of marginal gains.
Marginal gains. Sounds small.
It is. He broke down absolutely everything that goes into riding a bike, training, nutrition, even painting the inside of the team truck white just to spot tiny bits of dust that might affect bike mechanics.
Seriously. Painting the truck.
Seriously. And the goal was to improve every single one of those tiny things by just 1%. And the result? Within 5 years, they were dominating the Olympics. British cyclists won the Tour de France for the first time in like 110 years.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive. All from 1% changes.
Those small, consistent improvements, they weren't about some grand, ambitious goal initially. They were about building the systems that made those goals almost inevitable.
That British cycling story is fantastic. It really shows the power of those small gains. But let's be honest, painting the inside of my truck white to find dust on my budget spreadsheet feels a little extreme for me.
Fair enough.
Where's the line, between a marginal gain and just, obsession when it comes to financial habits?
That's a great point. And the beauty of this approach, especially for finance, isn't about achieving perfection in every tiny detail. It's about identifying the leverage points, finding those 1% improvements that are actually easy to implement and make a real difference.
Okay, leverage points, not just any 1%.
Exactly. We're not talking about overhauling your entire life overnight. We're talking about building robust systems. And that's why we're going to use the Atomic Habits framework as our guide today. It gives us a clear, step-by-step plan to transform financial behaviors. And it focuses not just on goals, but on the practical systems that get you there. It's about becoming the type of person who is financially successful.
Becoming the type of person. I like that framing. So let's dig into the foundation. How do habits actually work?
Okay, so the Atomic Habits framework explains that every habit, good or bad, follows a simple 4-step loop. Cue, craving, response, and reward.
Cue, craving, response, reward. Got it. Let's use an example. Maybe not financial, just to make it super clear.
Sure. Okay, imagine you've had a really stressful day at work. That stress, that feeling, that's your cue.
Okay, the trigger.
Right. Then you start feeling anxious, maybe mentally exhausted. That's the craving. You crave relief. You want to feel different, escape maybe.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
So maybe you grab your video game controller or scroll social media or grab a snack you maybe shouldn't. That action is your response.
The habit itself.
Exactly. And afterward, you feel maybe relaxed, distracted, calmed down for a bit. That feeling is the reward. And that reward reinforces the whole loop, making you more likely to repeat that response next time you feel that cue.
Ah, so the reward teaches your brain, hey, do that again.
Precisely. And understanding this loop is critical because it means we can intentionally design our habits. We don't have to be passive.
Right.
From this pattern, we get the 4 laws of behavior change. Think of them as levers we can pull.
Okay, the levers, what are they?
They're basically questions we need to answer for any habit we want to build or break. 1, how can I make it obvious? 2, how can I make it attractive?
Obvious, attractive.
3, how can I make it easy? And 4, how can I make it satisfying?
Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying.
Okay. If you've ever wondered why you don't stick to your budget or your savings plan, the answer usually lies in failing at one of these 4. Mastering them gives you this system.
Right. So let's unpack this. Where do we start? Law number 1, make it obvious. How does that apply to money?
Well, the thing is, many of our financial habits, especially the unhelpful ones, are triggered by cues that are so common they're almost invisible.
Like what?
Think about your credit card info being saved on your favorite shopping website, or that
Yeah.
big buy now button, or even just seeing ads for things you like. Our brains automatically pick up on these cues without us even realizing it. So the first step is just becoming aware. You need to notice your current habits before you can change them.
Okay, awareness first.
Yeah.
So how do we actively make good financial cues more obvious? Practical steps.
One really powerful technique is using implementation intentions. It sounds fancy, but it's simple. You just clearly define when and where you'll perform a habit. You fill in the blanks. I will behavior at time and location.
You mean an example for finance?
Okay. I will review my budget for 10 minutes at 7 p.m. in my living room every Sunday. That's specificity. It takes it from a vague idea like I should budget more into a concrete plan your brain can actually execute.
That specificity does seem powerful. It's like scheduling an appointment with yourself.
Mhm.
What else?
Another great one is habit stacking. This is where you tie a new financial habit to something you already do automatically every day.
Oh, piggybacking on an existing habit.
Exactly. The formula is, after I current habit, I will new habit. So maybe. After I pour my morning coffee, I will check my investment portfolio for just 1 minute.
Oh, I like that. Quick and linked.
Or, after I take off my shoes when I get home, I will open my banking app and check one upcoming bill.
You leverage the momentum you already have.
And then there's the environment itself. You mentioned designing your space. Yes, environment design. This is huge. It means making the cues for your good habits obvious and visible, and the cues for your bad habits invisible.
So, like, put your bills right on your desk.
Maybe? Or put a savings tracker on your fridge. Something visual you see constantly. Conversely, maybe delete those tempting shopping apps from your phone's home screen. Make the cue for impulsive spending harder to find.
Hide the temptation.
Right. Remember that hospital cafeteria study? Anne Thorndike just put water bottles in more locations, especially near the cash registers. Water sales shot up.
Just by making it visible and easy.
Exactly. You can be the architect of your own environment to nudge yourself towards better financial choices. Make the good cues unmissable.
Okay, so we've made our good financial habits obvious. Law 2, make it attractive. This feels like a big hurdle. Finance isn't always, well, attractive, is it? How do we tackle this one?
That's a really perceptive question because our motivation is deeply tied to the anticipation of reward. Our brains evolved in what scientists call immediate return environments. Think about our ancestors hunting or gathering.
You got the food, you ate it. Instant reward.
Precisely. If the reward wasn't quick, you probably didn't survive long. But today, we live in a delayed return environment.
Right. Saving for retirement decades from now.
Exactly. Investing for growth that might take years? Our brains aren't naturally wired for that long game. And to make it harder, modern society bombards us with supernormal stimuli.
Supernormal stimuli. Like what in finance?
Think about junk food engineered to be irresistible or social media designed for infinite scrolling. They give intense, immediate dopamine hits. Financially, it's things like effortless one-click buying, easy credit offers that promise instant gratification now but cause pain later. These things hijack our reward pathways.
Okay, so they offer a bigger, faster, maybe fake reward right now.
Exactly. Dopamine spikes not just when we get the reward, but when we anticipate it. That anticipation drives the craving. We need to make our good financial habits trigger a similar sense of anticipation.
So how do we compete with that? How do we make budgeting attractive?
One really clever method is temptation bundling. You pair something you need to do with something you want to do.
Like mixing chores with fun?
Kind of. Remember Ronan Byrne, the student who hacked his exercise bike? He loved Netflix, but knew he needed to exercise.
Yeah, you mentioned him.
He rigged it so Netflix would only play if he was cycling at a certain speed. He bundled the want, Netflix, with the need, exercise. Financially, you could say. I only allow myself to listen to my favorite podcast, Want, while I'm reviewing my monthly spending need.
Linking the reward directly to the less fun task.
It makes the chore more appealing because it becomes the gateway to something you genuinely enjoy.
That's smart. What about the people around us? Does that play a role?
Huge role. That's social influence. We are fundamentally social creatures. We want to fit in, get approval, belong. So if your close friends, your family, or community you're part of consistently talks about and practices good financial habits, saving, investing wisely, you're way more likely to adopt those behaviors yourself.
Because it becomes the norm.
Exactly. We tend to imitate the habits of three groups: the close, friends, family; the many, the tribe, the culture; and the powerful, those with status we admire. Joining a group, maybe an online financial independence community, or just friends with similar goals, makes it feel less like a lonely struggle and more like a shared, attractive journey.
Makes sense. You mentioned something profound earlier, identity shift. Tell me more about that.
This might be the deepest level. It's about shifting your focus from what you want to achieve, like I want to save $10,000, to who you want to become, like I'm a person who saves wisely.
So it's about your self-image.
Exactly. Instead of saying, I want to stop spending impulsively, you start thinking and saying, I am a mindful spender, or I am financially responsible. Remember Brian Clark and the nail biting? Getting a manicure didn't just make his nails look nice, it made him proud of them. That pride in his new identity as someone with nice nails was the motivation to stop biting.
So the behavior change supports the identity.
Precisely. Behavior that contradicts your self-identity usually doesn't last. Every time you perform a habit tracking expense, make a saving transfer, it's like casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. Eventually, you become your habits.
Okay, so we've made it obvious, made it attractive. But if it's still hard work, we might give up. Law 3, make it easy.
Yes, make it easy. This taps into a fundamental truth about human nature. We follow the path of least resistance. It's called the law of least effort.
We're naturally lazy.
In a way, yes, or maybe just efficient. Our energy is finite. We gravitate towards options that require the least effort. So the goal here is simple. Reduce the friction, the obstacles for your good financial habits, and increase the friction for your bad ones.
Reduce friction? Like how? Some financial tasks feel inherently friction-filled. Logging into websites, finding documents.
That's where automation is your best friend. Make good financial habits effortless by setting them on autopilot. The absolute classic example is automatic savings or investment transfers. Set up a recurring transfer from your checking to savings or investments right after payday. You don't even have to think about it.
Set it and forget it.
Exactly. Same with automatic bill pay for utilities, loans, credit cards. These are powerful one-time choices that lock in good behavior for the future. Remember the cash register example. It made stealing harder, basically automating honesty.
So automation removes the need for willpower in that moment?
Precisely. What else? How about preparing your environment?
Right, priming the environment. What does that look like for finance?
It means setting up your space so the next action is easy. If you plan to pay bills tomorrow morning, lay them out on your desk tonight with a pen and your checkbook or login details ready. Or maybe keep your budgeting app icon right on your phone's main screen. Or leave your financial spreadsheet open on your computer.
Like setting out your gym clothes the night before?
Exactly like that. It's about reducing the startup energy required. That IT developer, Oswald Knuckles, called it resetting the room, putting things back immediately to prepare for the next use. Makes the next action smoother.
I like that. Okay, what about the 2-minute rule? It sounds almost too easy.
It's deceptively powerful because it's so easy. The idea is to downscale any new habit until it takes 2 minutes or less to start. So, read a chapter about investing becomes read 1 page about investing. Or do my budget becomes open my budgeting app and record 1 expense.
Just 2 minutes, that doesn't seem like much.
The point isn't the initial outcome, it's mastering the habit of showing up. Consistency is key. You need to standardize the habit before you can optimize it. Doing something small is infinitely better than doing nothing because you felt overwhelmed. It builds momentum.
Master the art of starting, okay? And you also mentioned decisive moments.
Yes, these are the small choices throughout your day that have an outsized impact later on. They act like a fork in the road. The classic example is deciding between cooking dinner at home, which is usually cheaper and healthier, versus ordering takeout, which is quick but more expensive.
Ah, those little everyday choices.
Exactly. Choosing to walk past the cafe versus stopping for a $5 latte, packing a lunch versus buying one. These moments seem small, but repeated daily, they fundamentally shape your spending patterns and your financial trajectory. Recognizing and mastering them is key.
Okay, that makes sense. Obvious, attractive, easy. Now the final law, the one that makes it stick, make it satisfying. This feels crucial, but maybe the trickiest for finance, because the big rewards are often so far off.
You've hit the nail on the head. Our brains, as we said, evolved in those immediate return environments. We crave instant feedback, immediate gratification, waiting decades for a retirement fund to grow. That doesn't scratch the itch. So the core principle here is what is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided.
So we need to find ways to reward ourselves now for good financial behavior, even if the real payoff is later.
Precisely. We need to inject some immediate satisfaction into the process.
How do we do that? Give ourselves a cookie every time we save $10.
Yeah, maybe not a cookie, but we need immediate rewards and visual tracking. Seeing progress is incredibly satisfying. Think about using a habit tracker app, or even just a physical calendar where you put a big X on days you stick to your budget, or that stockbroker, Trent Deersmith, with his paper clips. Moving a paper clip from one jar to another after each sales call gave him a small, immediate visual sense of accomplishment.
The paperclip strategy, I like that. Visual progress.
Yeah. Or setting up a specific savings account with a clear name, like Hawaii Trip Fund, and watching the balance tick up even by small amounts. Seeing that number grow feels good now. Remember the Safeguard soap example in Pakistan? Adding a nice scent and good lather made hand washing feel pleasant and clean immediately. That satisfaction made the habit stick and drastically improved health.
So make the process itself feel rewarding, or at least track the progress visually. What if I need a bigger stick or carrot?
Then you might explore using an accountability partner or a habit contract. This introduces an immediate cost if you fail to act. It leverages our natural aversion to immediate loss or pain, and also our concern for what others think of us.
That's telling someone you'll do it.
And putting something on the line. Brian Harris, the entrepreneur wanting to lose weight, he made a contract with his wife and trainer. If he missed targets, there were immediate, unpleasant consequences: owing money, wearing a rival team's jersey.
Ouch. That would work.
Right, even a simple pact with a friend. If I don't transfer my $50 weekly savings by Friday night, I owe you $20. That potential immediate cost makes you much more likely to follow through. The sooner the consequence, the more effective it is.
Okay, this is a really powerful framework. Obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. So for everyone listening, you've got the theory now. Let's make it super practical. What are, say, 3 tiny but impactful habits someone could start, like today, using these laws?
Absolutely. Let's combine these laws into a few actionable steps you can take right now. First, automate a tiny percentage-based savings transfer. Maybe just 1% of your paycheck, or even just $5 or $10 per week, automatically move to a separate savings or investment account. This makes saving easy. It's automatic, obvious, you see the transfer, and surprisingly satisfying as you watch that small amount grow. It hits multiple laws.
Okay, automate a small percentage. Love that. What's number 2?
Second, implement a focused money moment habit stack. Pick an existing habit like your morning coffee, brushing your teeth, finishing breakfast. Then stack a 2-minute financial check right after it. After I finish my coffee, I will spend 2 minutes checking my main bank balance or investment portfolio. And it makes it obvious, link to the queue, easy. Just 2 minutes. And checking in consistently can become oddly satisfying as you feel more connected to your money.
Habit stack, a 2-minute money moment. Got it. And number 3.
Third, visual tracking for a micro goal with a mini reward. Pick one small, specific goal, maybe saving $100 for something fun, or making one extra $20 payment on a small debt this month. Create a super simple visual tracker, tick marks on a sticky note, a progress bar drawn on paper. Every time you contribute, mark it off. That visual progress is satisfying and makes the goal obvious. And maybe you even bundle a tiny reward. Once I make 5 check marks towards my goal, I'll treat myself to my favorite coffee. Link's attractive too.
Those are brilliant. Small, actionable, and they weave the laws together. And really, at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to have more money, is it? It's about that identity shift you mentioned.
Exactly. It's about becoming the type of person who is financially secure, responsible, mindful. Your habits are, in a way, the votes you cast for the person you want to be. They shape your beliefs about yourself. You literally become your habits.
So the journey to financial well-being isn't about some lottery win or grand gesture.
Not usually, no. It's about the consistent compounding power of your small daily choices. So the question for everyone listening is, what small financial habit, what tiny vote will you cast today to start becoming the person you aspire to be?
Keep those small votes coming. Keep stacking those tiny wins and watch your financial life transform. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.